Welcome to the CompTIA A+ Prepcast presented by baremetalcyber.com. The first step in the troubleshooting process is to identify the problem, and it is arguably the most critical phase in the entire six-step methodology. Without a clear understanding of what is wrong, every subsequent action is built on unstable ground. This step involves collecting observable facts, listening to user reports, and narrowing the scope of the issue. If this phase is skipped or rushed, it often results in wasted time, incorrect fixes, and recurring issues. In both exam and real-world environments, accurate diagnosis begins with proper identification. Gathering user input is a key part of this step and involves asking focused, open-ended questions to uncover what exactly the user experienced. Instead of simply asking if the system is broken, ask what was being done when the issue occurred, how often it happens, and whether anything changed recently. Pay attention to the timing, the environment in which the problem occurred, and the severity as described by the user. All of this information should be documented clearly, providing a reliable reference point throughout the troubleshooting process. When possible, try to reproduce the issue in a controlled environment. Being able to trigger the same behavior seen by the user gives valuable insight into what conditions cause the problem. If an error message appears, what steps produce it? If a slowdown occurs, is it tied to a specific program or process? Reproducibility makes diagnosis significantly easier and reduces guesswork. This should always be done carefully and safely, ensuring that no data is lost or systems are placed at risk. Documenting observed behavior in detail supports both accurate diagnosis and effective communication. Technicians should take notes or screenshots of error messages, slowdowns, or malfunctions as they appear. Specific details such as error codes, timestamps, and steps to reproduce the issue can be invaluable when escalating the problem to a higher tier of support. This documentation also helps avoid duplicate work and ensures that any resolution is based on verified facts, not vague memory or speculation. Checking for recent system changes is another essential part of identifying the root of a problem. Ask users if they installed new applications, updated drivers, added devices, or accepted operating system updates recently. These events often correlate directly with new issues. Tools such as installation logs, system restore history, or update records can help verify what has changed and when. Understanding the timeline of changes allows technicians to connect cause and effect more effectively. Performing an initial physical inspection is a basic but often overlooked troubleshooting step. Check that all power cables, data cables, and peripheral connections are firmly seated and functioning. Look for warning lights, spinning fans, or signs of overheating. Examine the condition of ports, connectors, and physical switches. Many problems originate from a disconnected cable, loose power supply, or overlooked physical damage. Verifying that the device is powered on and receiving input may resolve issues before more complex diagnostics are even necessary. Basic software settings should also be reviewed at the outset. A misconfigured display setting, incorrect startup item, or user profile error can easily appear as a hardware problem. Review system preferences, check taskbar items, and verify that the date, time, and region are correct. Some problems stem from user customizations or login environment quirks, and these can often be resolved simply by adjusting or resetting configuration files. This step prevents unnecessary reinstallation or hardware replacement. Built-in diagnostic tools provide a quick and effective way to verify the state of system components. Utilities like Device Manager can show if a piece of hardware has failed or is missing drivers. Event Viewer logs system and application events that may indicate what failed and when. Disk Check can scan for file system errors, while Task Manager provides insights into CPU, memory, and disk activity. OEM diagnostics and BIOS-level tests may reveal hardware conditions that aren't visible from the operating system level. Network-related issues can be especially confusing, so it's important to gather basic network indicators during this step. Check whether the Ethernet or wireless link light is active. Verify that the system has a valid IP address and can resolve domain names using DNS. Ask whether the problem is isolated to one device or affects multiple users. This helps determine whether the issue is local, such as a bad cable or misconfigured adapter, or broader, such as a router problem or ISP outage. Narrowing the scope here is essential for efficient problem resolution. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Avoiding user blame is a crucial part of professional troubleshooting. It is essential to listen carefully to the user without making assumptions or expressing frustration. Users may not understand the technical cause of the issue, but their observations are valuable clues that help narrow the problem. Even if the issue appears to be caused by user action, focusing on symptoms and solutions, rather than assigning fault, ensures a positive experience and more accurate resolution. Approaching each case with empathy and professionalism leads to better cooperation and more complete information gathering. Understanding the distinction between primary and secondary symptoms helps prevent misdiagnosis. The primary symptom is the main problem the user reports, such as an error message or the inability to access a file. Secondary symptoms may include slow performance, missing icons, or unusual noises that could be side effects or unrelated issues. Technicians must sort out which symptoms point to the root cause and which are distractions. Isolating the primary issue helps guide the diagnostic process and avoids unnecessary troubleshooting. Baseline comparison is a powerful tool in identifying abnormal behavior. Knowing how a system typically performs, how fast it boots, how applications load, and what sounds it makes, helps a technician recognize when something is wrong. Any deviation from the baseline, such as slower load times or unexpected pop-ups, may signal a deeper issue. Technicians who work regularly with the same environment should develop an internal sense of what normal looks like, which accelerates problem identification. Environmental factors should never be overlooked, especially when dealing with intermittent or unusual failures. High temperatures can cause thermal shutdowns or component throttling. Dust can block ventilation and contribute to overheating. Humidity may affect electronic contacts, and poor air circulation can make hardware behave erratically. The location of the device, such as near a heater, in a dusty workshop, or in direct sunlight, may be the hidden cause of instability. Observing the physical environment can reveal conditions that aren't visible through software diagnostics. Identifying the scope of impact helps determine the severity and origin of the issue. If the problem affects only one device, it is likely local and hardware or software specific. If multiple users are impacted, the issue may be systemic, such as a failed server or misconfigured network appliance. Determining how widespread the issue is allows the technician to prioritize efforts and allocate resources more effectively. Broad impact often warrants quicker escalation or more urgent action, while isolated problems may be resolved with basic user-level adjustments. User-reported problems often begin with vague complaints that need clarification. Statements like, "My computer is slow," "I can't print," or "the internet isn't working," are common but not specific. The technician must convert these statements into actionable symptoms by asking follow-up questions. When did the issue begin? What changed recently? Is the problem constant or intermittent? Which applications are affected? This line of questioning transforms general frustration into a targeted investigation. Early steps in determining whether an issue is software or hardware related are important. Software issues often involve symptoms like slow responsiveness, crashing programs, or unexpected behavior in specific applications. Hardware problems may involve physical signs like failed boot sequences, strange noises, or BIOS-level error codes. Using process of elimination, such as booting into safe mode or running a hardware diagnostic, helps isolate the root area of the problem. This step is vital for choosing the correct path forward in troubleshooting. Peripheral devices can both cause and obscure problems. An external USB device, faulty docking station, or wireless mouse may introduce power issues or interrupt normal system operation. During testing, it is helpful to disconnect all non-essential peripherals and test the system in isolation. If the issue resolves, reconnect devices one at a time to determine which is responsible. This practice reduces confusion and prevents false assumptions about system behavior. Thorough record-keeping during the identification phase is not just a formality, it is essential. Keeping detailed notes allows the technician to track what has been tried, what the user reported, and what has been observed. These records support escalation to higher tiers of support and prevent repeated efforts. Good documentation also becomes part of the organization's support history, helping future technicians recognize patterns or recurring problems. Skipping this step results in lost time and poor continuity of support. In summary, identifying and verifying the problem is the foundation for every successful troubleshooting process. This step demands careful questioning, detailed observation, and methodical data collection. It requires separating symptoms from root causes, understanding environmental and contextual factors, and confirming the scope of the issue. By thoroughly completing this first step, technicians ensure that every action taken afterward is based on clear and accurate information, improving both efficiency and accuracy in problem resolution. Thank you for listening. Please visit baremetalcyber.com for more cybersecurity information, podcasts, books, and more.